Cowork have some serious competition. That's what we're going to be talking about today as we demo Perplexity Computer. Perplexity Computer is Perplexity's Cowork competitor. And what we will see is that Perplexity has some really strong capabilities in deep research, as well as cloud containerization, which make it a really strong alternative in certain use cases to Cowork. We are going to be integrating it with a CRM today. That CRM is going to be Attio CRM, and we're going to be doing some research on lead lists that we will assume are coming into our CRM through a web form, but it could come in through really any way, any medium. And if you stick around until the end, we will be showing you how Claude performs against the same prompt in Perplexity. So let's jump into it and get right to it. So Perplexity Computer is a very similar user interface to Claude, and in a lot of ways takes inspiration from it. So it has skills. You can schedule tasks in the same way you can in Cowork. And there are some things that Computer does which Claude can't do. Most notably is being able to schedule something in a cloud container. Cowork has to run on your local PC or Mac, and that will cause you to sometimes miss tasks if you don't have Cowork open or the Claude desktop app open to run your jobs. So we're going to hook up our Attio CRM here, and we're just going to ask Computer, can you get my most recent leads from Attio and run deep search on them? We'll just say the last 5 leads. The last 5 from people is perfect. And run a deep search on them to research sales signals. And please send me an email with that report when it is done. So this is a prompt I might run in Computer. And if I just want to run this one time, I can just type it in the same way I would use chat. But if I know I'm going to want to do this on a regular basis, like let's say I want to run this every day or every week, I'd want to turn this into a skill first. And so if you're not familiar with Claude and skills, this works in very much the same way. So we can just say to Computer, I would like to create a skill, and we can press the / create skill. And let's just copy this so we can paste that in. And this will allow us to reuse this prompt. So I would like to create a skill that allows me to do the below on we'll just say a weekly basis, or we'll say a daily basis. That makes more sense for a lead. So we'll let Perplexity go through and create that skill. Perplexity, the connection to Attio at least, is a little different than it would be in Claude. Claude uses the Attio MCP. Perplexity uses a Pipedream connector. So it's going to prompt you to use an Attio API key. So we're just going to use that API key here. And yes, let's schedule it for 7 a.m. ET. So it's going to do all of this for us. It's going to build the skill. It's going to schedule it. And one thing to note about Perplexity in terms of token usage is you won't get as much token usage as you would with a tool like Claude Cowork. So it is important to be, I guess, judicious in how you use your tokens for Computer. But Computer has some real benefits over Cowork, especially as it relates to this sort of research, like researching leads. We're noticing that Perplexity is surfacing things that Claude won't, even though it's using, you can see, right, we're using Claude Opus 4.8 as the model behind this. So it's the same model, but because Perplexity is doing work uh, on their end to prompt and create agent frameworks for us, we're getting a lot of value from them in that capacity as well. So that is just something to note. But this is definitely a tool worth exploring, and especially when you can tie it close to revenue, like something we're doing now, like tying it into your CRM and doing lead research and creating a skill around that. There is a lot of value to be had. So that is something to note, though, and also the convenience as well of being able to run this in the cloud. We know I mean, we use Cowork as well, and if we forget to open up Claude in the desktop and work from there, because there's a convenience to being able to just spin up a bunch of tabs in Chrome for Cowork, or for Claude Chat, then and that's great. So we can just run this skill right now as if it's 7 a.m. But this skill it will run tomorrow for us at 7 a.m. But we can just run this skill now. So we can watch computer go to work here. And you can see it's improving the credential first. Yes, we've saved this credential already. It's going to prompt you to enter your API key into a secure portal. So if you use Attio, you can find that in your workspace settings under developers, and then just go grab an access token. And then you bring that access token back to Perplexity. So you can see, yeah, it's pulling from our Smart Leads campaigns. So it's going to do all the work for us. You can see it's also tallying our credits here. So we're using, probably by the end of this, we'll use 200 to 250 tokens. And that would be more or less depending on the number of leads that you need to, run. But for, a mid-sized business that has, anywhere between 5 and 10 leads coming in each day, you'll have more than enough capacity on the pro plan for handling that. So, and we can see here, it's interesting to see, it's spinning up these research agents to go, and they're running in parallel. You can see, right? They're all doing research. So this is really where computer shines, is in this research, and this has always been a strength of Perplexity. So we've got those 5 sub agents running. Once those agents are done, we're going to get that report sent to us via email, but we'll just read it from here. Major CRM like HubSpot or Salesforce, where you can just feel so overwhelmed sometimes by all the options. So you can see here, it is giving us that research, and it's going to send that as an email to me, but we can just read that email from here. Daily lead signal report, low priority. So it's giving us medium, 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 low, stale contact, left company in June. So, right, these are all good things to know. And again, we're getting this through an email campaign, but if you're running a web form into your CRM, that's just good to know who is in your CRM and being able to quickly sort through who's a high intent lead and who is not. You can see here, it's giving us info about all these businesses as well. And then if we press send, it's going to send that email to us. And that would all happen in the background. You just need to make sure that you give Perplexity in the connectors. It just needs to have access to your different connectors. So your Gmail connector, you'd want to make sure you just come into manage connectors and you add that connector. You can search for Gmail or Outlook with calendar. You can just click that and go through that same setup, or it will prompt you to do it as well. Let's go back to computer here, and it is finishing our task. Great, and it's finishing up. And you can see it used more credits than probably would have liked. So that is something as well. In the skill, I would go back in and I would edit this skill, and I would advise it to not do, if I didn't want it to use as many credits, I would advise it to not do as deep of research into all these people, but we can see it pulled up it surfaced some really good things about those leads. One is a stale lead. The person's no longer at the company, so that's good to know. And it's finishing up. So that is what this prompt looks like on Cowork. We ran the same prompt I'm sorry, not Cowork, in Computer. We ran the same prompt in Cowork, and you can see here it's pulling different names, different leads, but it's also connected to our ADIO workspace. It's connected through the MCP server. And you can see here some of the things it's thinking about. You can see the tools it loaded, right? It's loading ADIO. It's going to use the ADIO integration, updating tasks, getting our records, and then it's going to run and do the same research here. But we can see that the research it's doing is definitely less detailed. I believe this run, let me see, progress, doesn't tell us how long it ran for on this run. Just 20 minutes ago. I think it said it ran for 2 or 3 minutes. So it was a shorter run. And what I will do, we'll post in my next video, we're going to actually reach out to these people. We've already sent them emails. But reach out to them now that we have this kind of high intent signal with handcrafted emails. And over the course of the next month, we're going to run these side by side and see which gives us better results. So we'll report back on that in a month. But that is the intro to Perplexity Computer, if you haven't heard of it, Claude Cowork, if you haven't heard of that, and how you can utilize Perplexity Computer to do the deep research, and in this case, to enable your sales team and free them up to spend more time with clients and active accounts, and not having to do the time-consuming research which AI agents can do for them. So we'll see you in the next one, and talk soon.